Hey guys, it's Brandon. You probably wouldn't believe that I'm a video producer considering the quality of my videos previous to, but it's a little different when you're making them on your iPhone versus when you're, using a real camera and real editing software and whatnot. I should edit my videos though, that might be fun. So I'm going to make another video tomorrow, and I want Jenna to be in that one, my wife, because tomorrow is officially my 1 month on T. This one's just going to be like about personal stuff because when she's there, I want her to kind of talk about the changes she's experiencing on her end in relation to my changes, if that makes sense. Wow, that sounds so self-centered, but I think that it is kind of valid because there's people that are going to be going through transition and worried about how their partners are going to react, or whether or not they're going to be okay with things, and I think that hearing her opinions would probably be beneficial. So we'll do that tomorrow. But just some personal changes. Let's talk about the physical stuff. I think I've definitely noticed some voice stuff, some voice changes. I just actually rewatched my 3-day on T video, and I was thinking, no, the changes aren't that crazy. The voice changes aren't too crazy. And then I watched it, and I was like, whoa, I sound like a little kid in my 3 days on T video. So I think the changes are, they fluctuate back and forth because there's days where I can clear my throat and I can force it to go higher if I wanted to, but there's days that, or moments that it is where it is. If I wake up in the morning, sometimes you can really hear the bass in it. So yeah, it's changing. And that's pretty great. There's some changes in my face going on, but I cannot tell you exactly what they are. I just know something is different. Also, I'm getting some pretty good facial hair going on here and there, mostly around this zone, and that was kind of to be expected because both the guys in my family have like really killer mustaches. It's just like the trademark thing in our family, so get ready for that. Noticing a little bit of acne. I kind of expected that, so I'm not totally freaked out just yet. Just don't quote me on that, but eventually I probably will be. Got a little bit going on my back, but I think that's just like from general binding and whatever, that just happens. I'm hungry, but again, to be expected. I have a lot of food cravings I can eat and eat right after, and that's not very typical for me, at least over the last couple of years. So that's kind of new, but I'm dealing with it. It's fine. I think that one thing worth mentioning is that I talked to a therapist a while back, or actually he was doing a seminar, and he said that it sucks for us guys because we are starving from hormones. Like, we always want to eat, and yet we can't really exercise to our fullest capacity because we're binding and we're compressed, and we don't want to sweat. We don't want to not be able to breathe, and we don't want to not be able to bind. So instead we don't work out. It's something that, he said, try your best. Just try your best. Keep up with it, because you're gonna, you don't want to just gain weight and feel miserable from that when you're trying to make all these amazing changes to yourself. That's a very valid point. So I'm trying to keep that in mind and try to remember to go and work out. I did run a mile last week and lift some weights and stuff, and found that I could lift a lot more weight since starting hormones, like consistently anywhere from 5 to 15 pounds more on every machine. So that was really cool. The mile though sucked because I think I might have been binding a little bit too tight that day, and I used to be able to walk into the gym and just not give a shit and not bind and be like, whatever, I got my headphones in, I don't care. But I've kind of gotten past that, being able to do that. So I was binding, and it was really hard to breathe. It took me a lot longer to do the mile than I would have liked. But, I don't know, maybe I'll cancel my gym membership and try to do more stuff at home. Not sure how I'm going to work that one out. Just going to try to remember I have to work out. It is important. Yeah, things are pretty cool with my family. The in-laws have been calling me Brandon since I came out and using the right pronouns. My mom and my dad both yesterday just happened to both call me Brandon for the first time on the same day. I called my dad to wish him a happy Father's Day, and he's like, hey Brandon, and I was like, whoa. Like, it just kind of blew my mind, but I tried not to point it out, just tried to ride with it. And my mom was starting to tell me a story, and she said, "Let me tell you," and she used my birth name, and she's like, "Nope, I mean Brandon," and then she continued with the story. And my brother has been using Brandon, and so that's all well and good. So I've been meeting some other trans guys lately, like hanging out with them a lot more, which is something that, I didn't know any trans people growing up, and I would always kind of say casually, like, I wish that I, had a trans friend, because I just wanted to talk to them. Like, I just wanted to have somebody tell me that I wasn't crazy. And this was really before anybody, I had ever really talked to anybody aside from Jenna about it, but it would have been so nice to talk to somebody then. But anyway, I never made that friend. I never made that trans friend, and I just started going to support groups, and that's where I made those connections. And so now we do hang out from time to time, just to, like, just to hang, not because we're both trans or anything, but just because we're, we do have that in common, even if there's other aspects of our life that are different. And it's nice to be able to talk about those sort of things. And this one specific guy I was hanging out with this past weekend said a lot of things that resonated with me. He said there was a time in his life where he felt he was completely insane, and he didn't think that he would ever feel okay. And he feels he's, a year and a half on T, and he feels great. So that's, it's good news. It's good news for me. I like that. I like hearing that from guys that are a little bit further ahead. He also mentioned something about how in his, early T days he felt like he had to assert his masculinity, that even he's like kind of a feminine guy. He's just a, he's a gay guy, and there's, he felt upset about that. He felt like he had to do all these, like, let me go fix the car, and let me go do all this sort of stuff, so that people wouldn't question how trans he was. And I can identify with that. I think that you do worry at times that there's going to be things you do that are perceived as not masculine enough. If I don't know the score of the game, or is somebody going to question me? And it's all just too much. Like, why even bother thinking about things like that is kind of what I've come to terms with, is like, why? Why waste your time? Just do what you're doing. You know who you are, and it's fine. There's not any sort of rules. There's no set of rules that says this is what you must do as a man. Just be the man that you are. And I think that that's also an elevated way of thinking that I've gotten to, is I used to say when I was growing up, okay, I'm a girl, but I feel like I should be a guy. And that never really made sense. It just always felt twisted. But now I say, I'm a guy. I'm just a guy. I'm just a dude. And I may have been born female, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm a guy. And just that small change in thinking really does make a difference. I do find myself a little bit ashamed of pictures of me lately, though, from the past, which is different, because I thought I would just be able to embrace it and say, no, that's how I used to look, and that's fine, and, let's just move on from there, because I'm evolved. I used to, dress a certain way and look a certain way, and now I look like this, and I feel better, and everything's fine. But I see those pictures, and I feel odd, because I feel like I'm wearing a costume, and that I was lying, or that I was putting on this, like, facade, and that's all I can see in those pictures is just the pain, and the just the whole production that was happening. So, I'm trying not to look at those right now, but I do hope that a period of time will come where I just accept it for what it is, and I can embrace it and just move on. That same guy I was talking to this past weekend said, just think of it as being in drag. Just think of it as you were in drag for the first 20 some odd years of your life, and now you're out. And that's probably a good way to think of it. So yeah, that's all I really got for now, and I'm going to definitely do an official 1 month tomorrow, and that will be with Jenna, and see you tomorrow.